All right. Boom. Live. What I was going to tell you too also is if you haven't already, I usually send out an email sometime during the middle of the week and it just takes you to all the past recordings. So you can
Hmm.
go look those over should you need to you want to review something or catch up with what was done before. So
Okay.
okay. So yeah, I might as well just get started now. Let me get this thing up, but the share screen up. Tell me a little bit about yourself. What made you decide to I guess get in you got enrolled through I'm gonna say one of the real estate meetups, alchemist class.
It was one of those, and then other real estate meetups as well. So I want to get into real estate, and I was doing that before, but I had like no capital to really start the real estate. So I kind of held off on that, so then I could save more money. I was just really focusing on just building the money in order to, you know, be able to actually start investing.
So what city are you in?
I'm in Charleston,
Charleston.
South Carolina.
Got it. And how long have you been, I guess, getting into investing or in exploring it?
Just this past year, like just this year, basically, like I really am very new. I've been trying to get back into it because I kind of fell off of it while I was trying to do the whole build capital thing. So I'm gonna have to like go back and review a lot of stuff.
So one thing you will learn, I'm gonna ask you this question, and you know just let it sit in your mind so that you don't get caught up in getting, I guess, capital, raising capital. I mean, it's something you're gonna have to do, but it's not. It's the question is this: do you think it's going to be faster for you to save $100,000 or to borrow and leverage $100,000?
I think borrow, but I'm just not sure how to go about it because I myself don't feel comfortable borrowing other people's money yet, because I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I haven't done a deal yet or anything, so I don't want to like be like, "Hey, let me borrow your money," and have people just like, and screw them over. Like I don't want to screw anybody over. I want to make sure I know what I'm doing before I do anything with, people's money.
And that is perfect. Ethically, you should do that. What are you doing inside of real estate then? I'm going to assume that means that you're trying to wholesale first.
Yeah.
Okay. And have you been successful at any of that?
No, I had trouble finding the people to like call for wholesaling, like calling the owners of the homes. And I had a few people, but I didn't know what to say. I was trying to find videos of like what to say and stuff. I was looking on YouTube and it all kind of just felt like I would have to rehearse it with somebody, and I didn't really have anybody to like rehearse the lines with.
Okay, so that's good. So inside of I've been a part of lots of real estate sort of educations, right?
Mhm.
I've created some, I've studied others, I've gotten coaching, that kind of stuff. So what's cool about the Alchemist Nation is there's a lot of Zoom calls you can plug into, including like, there's just one tomorrow and it's kind of just a wealth building principle. But I think the wholesaling class is like Monday and they're pretty affordable. So that might be something you want to consider because while you can find everything on YouTube, imagine going into a library where everything is organized in piles and you just have to go and find pile by pile which one kind of applies to you with no real, I guess, sequence of how you should do things. So sometimes it's better to just leverage what other people organize and follow it with them, because just like anybody who's ever made a map of some kind, they're going to know it more intricately than anybody else. And if you're jumping around looking at other people's maps, you might miss a step here, miss a step there, and it's probably what you're encountering. Like there's probably a lot of holes in your knowledge, that just getting in like to a insider group or group coaching or anything like that would help you to close the gap on that and actually get, get your questions answered quickly, because most of the time the people that are in those groups probably pay to be there, they pay to pay attention, and they're more invested in um making sure things go quicker and smoother, because like, nobody likes their time or their money wasted, right? So
Yeah.
whenever you do something like that, something to consider. Also, the other part of it is the networking part of it is once people get to see you and get to like, know, and trust you and see that you show up, they're way more likely to help you and do business with you, which you cannot. There's no monetary value to that, right? Like there's like, hey, you said you did a lot of calls and you did some things, but you probably didn't have anybody to bounce that off of, or even to like just throw you leads. Cause sometimes like
Yeah.
I don't know anybody in Charleston, but if I knew you and I knew you had some kind of wholesaler chops and it was like, I got a lead in Charleston, I'd be like, oh yeah, why don't I need people on the ground. So let me call Grace. And then next thing you know, you're part of a JV deal because you just happen to be in a group with the right people. So don't ever discount the idea that that might be a better way of spending your money, is getting into groups so that you can, what you spend, you'll save probably 10 times that in hard work and mistakes. So keep that in mind. All right. So
Okay.
let me get into this and then we'll dig a little further into this, because I actually was, I mean, I still can technically will wholesale a deal here and there, but um I came up wholesaling. I mean, I did all of it: fix and flip, buy and hold. But wholesaling and short term rentals like Airbnbs kind of became my thing for many years. So I can tell you more about that, and we can kind of dig into that after we go through this, because I want to make sure that I at least give you some context for this, so that way when you go back to it, you can actually use it for yourself. So you said you got through the beginning of it. Um,
Hmm.
Now I'm gonna just show you this so that you can understand it like a little bit more from my perspective. This whole thing about a nickname and creating a character, not everybody chooses to go that far.
Hmm.
Sometimes people think it's unprofessional. I really don't care, because these are the same people that will lurk on LinkedIn and try and spam a million people and hopefully somebody responds to them, but nobody remembers who the hell they are because they don't do anything
To
memorable.
stand out.
Yeah, memorable. Like, so I'm going to just use my own personal story. When I started in real estate, I just never liked a suit and tie person. Like, I grew up in North Philly, like urban area, heavy Hispanic, heavy Black. Like, it's just ethnic area. Like, it's just bad. You know, um, what they would call the hood, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what it is, right? So when we saw people in suits, they were either undercover cops, insurance salesman, or Jehovah Witness, right? Like none of them you want in your house, really. so,
Gotcha.
so it's kind of
The
like,
trust was gone.
I was gonna say the whole idea of suit and tie type of people, just whether it was right or wrong, subconsciously, I just never really vibed with it, right? So when I came up with my character, I said, if I'm going to be in real estate, I want it to be about family and fun. And suit and tie, Century 21 jackets, those people did not appeal to me. I was like I said, people that dress like they do. It's kind of like the idea, Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg. The people that make the most money are not the suit and tie people. They are the dress down,
Yeah.
work boot type people, millionaire next door type people that you would never really guess, because they don't really wear it on the outside like that, unless it's like specifically required. So anyway, family and fun was how I wanted to do my brand. So, I'm a father, so I was like, okay, daddy. And then fast cash was a solution to a problem, right? So daddy's fast cash became my quote unquote superhero name when I thought of myself as in the marketing space, and for one of a better word, your social media profile, because this all started probably, it didn't start before Facebook, but I'm a little bit older, so I was there since like when it kind of just started popping off. Um, I took that and ran with it and just said, okay, I'm going to be, if I can't be the best wholesaler in Philadelphia, I'm going to be the best cartoon wholesaler in the nation, or in my area. But the point is, I was like, this is gonna be my lane, and I'm gonna stick to it because those are my passions. Like, cartoons and artwork and comic books and that kind of stuff, and then dad jokes and kids. Like, that's just my personality. So this character was created from that, and the reason why made all these characters were, you are more than one type of person. You're more than a wholesaler. You're someone's daughter. You're someone's sister. You could be an artist. You could also be riding motorcycles for fun. You could, like, there's all these things you could be. So I made this so people could understand, like, when you're thinking of your marketing, think of all the things you could possibly be. You're not going to present them all to everybody, but this is what gets you to become more than a two-dimensional person in someone's head. So, I was a firefighter for 23 years, so that's this one. Some of these were just like my takes on holidays, but this was the original one. And then this guy, like, brand new, like, I just was like, if I'm going to make a course, because this whole thing came from me being asked to speak at a real estate event, and everybody else is talking about wholesaling and fix, and it's boring to me. I'm like, everybody talks about the same crap. I
Hmm.
don't want to talk about the same crap. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do something I think is more valuable, because how do people know me? And I was like, okay, well, they know me for this. So this is what I'm going to talk about. So that's where this brand new dad character came up. And like I said, this is fun for me. This is like, if I didn't get paid to do this, I would still do this. Right. So why I bring this up is, when you do your branding, like for real estate or just any business, I always tell people, take like whatever your business is and whatever your passion or hobby is, and try to find a way to mix the two together, like Reese's peanut butter cup, chocolate and peanut butter, like, and then,
Hmm.
like that, like you become that. So for me, it was like real estate, wholesaler, and goofy cartoon character. Like, that was kind of my stick. And so that's what all this came from. And, like I said, I did different versions of it. And I did that also too, because people would notice that, like, my profile picture would change and it was updated. Oh, that's a cool version. And then they would start getting in on it. Like, which one should I do next? All right, this holiday, whatever. And they would vote. And then you get engagement and stuff like that. So once you find your people, because not everybody's going to like that,
Hmm.
they become your tribe, your more true fans. And it can start with a nickname. Like, I don't know, do you have a nickname that anybody kind of calls you between your friends, or like something you like
Um, I've got a number of nicknames. Because I used to work on tall ships and sailing yachts, and now I work on tugboats. But so the guys on the tugboats don't really use any nicknames. Um, but I usually got like Giggles McDonut, Giggles. This last transit I was on, I had like three different nicknames from the same guy. Um, he called me Giggle Chicken or Giggle Duck and
so you laugh a
Sparky.
lot. So you laugh a lot, then, I guess.
Yeah, I laugh a lot. It's I'm a giggler for sure. But so he had all these different ones, and then because I was from New York, and the engineer on one of the boats, he's like, "All right, gangster girl," and I was like, "What?"
So
So,
it seems like you got a lot of nicknames based off the G and your personality, Giggles.
mhm.
So, all right, there can be something there. Now, what about hobbies and things that you like to do?
I like being social, like going out. I also am pretty boring. I like to play video games, so I do that too. I'll stay home and do that, and then I did that mostly because of COVID and everything now, because I haven't gone out at least recently. But I like to go out and be social with people and just make new friends.
So you got three G's going on. You're like a 3G network. You got Grace, Giggles, and gaming. There's something there. I mean, I'm just trying to, I'm trying to kind of think of like how you can take that into things. Now, so that's your personality. And now it's kind of like wrapping it up with what you want to do. If you were to go with Giggles, then it would not be like it could be Gigi. It could be like, you can give yourself a name in that and give it multiple meanings. Your name is Grace. It could be
Hmm.
that itself. Like, people don't normally just call people like, the idea is for them to feel familiar with you, right? Like,
Yeah.
like my name's Jason, but like if you call me Jay, which most people will, then that's a more familiar term. Same with you. They probably don't call you G, but they might call you GG or Giggles or things like that. The idea is mentally you want to get people feeling like they know you to the point where they can do that with you, right?
Yeah.
Um, so we can kind of think like let this kind of sit for a minute, but point I'm trying to make is you could be gamer girl, you could be GG gamer girl, and your person, you don't have to jump on the giggles thing. You could just giggle a lot and people would actually, that's just another facet, another level to you, right? So if
Hmm.
you were gamer girl real estate, that would be dope because people who are into games, which everybody is, especially now, like of some version or another, gamer girl real estate is actually that would actually be a pretty good like uh, sort of brand, right?
Yeah. No, that sounds good. Gamer
I,
girl.
I, I I would I would play with that a little bit more, but even just gamer girl real estate or gamer girl, what's something G that's like real estate related? I don't know, but like then that would make it 3G or G cubed or like 3G. Like you could play with that if you could find another G in there, because that would
Hmm.
matter. But even just gamer girl is pretty strong, right? Because that you can gamer girl real estate could be on TikTok, on Instagram, or any of that, and it could just be
Yeah.
as simple as that. You don't have to overthink that. And if you feel good with that, I would start playing with that. You can make a cartoon character. You can make all your communications like you're playing real estate, like you play a game, and you can do tips and tricks and hacks. And like that's what I was gonna say. Like I told this one lady, like, hey, she's like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, well, what are you into? She's like, wine. I'm like, I said, so why don't you like be the wine lady? And when you like advertise houses, you rate them like wines. Like this is a dry,
Ooh.
blah blah blah. And I was like, so like a sommelier of houses, you just kind of take the wine descriptions and talk a little bit about wine, talk about the house, but talk about it in wine terms. And what you're not seeing there is if you do that, yes, not everybody's going to be into the wine, but wine connoisseurs generally have disposable income and money, so they're probably going to think of you first. And B, they're probably going to get into that and be reactive more to that. So when they're ready to buy a house, you're going to be first in their thought because they're like, oh, I'm gonna call the wine lady. Same thing with you. Your marketing doesn't have to be real estate, real estate, real estate, real estate, because to be honest with you, people don't have the money to be buying house after house after house after house
Hmm.
until like they're of a certain level. But for all those onesie twosies first timers, for a wholesaler, the best buyers are usually the one or two property owners up to maybe less than 10. Anything after that are probably not going to be the most faithful buyers because they have access to sheriff sales and auctions and all these other easier things, and they always try to cut the wholesaler out of the deal anyway. So probably not the best use of your time. So the people that you start with the one or two properties all the way up to 10, those are going to be your most faithful customers, even as they grow, because they're going to remember you fondly. Even if they outgrow you, they would still probably do business with you. So taking the gamer girl thing, like use that in your branding, make all your branding like real estate games. It could be as simple as like playing Pac-Man, eating houses, and like Pokemon and Mario, and just take any games and like twist them up into like your version of houses and hit that heavy. And then inside of your marketing, you can, like I said, you can throw tips and gamer tips and tricks and hacks, and then a house. Like that's what I used to do. I would do like a video of the house and like some kind of joke or funny thing that I found funny, and they would both be in my marketing emails. And I would have people tell me like years later, like, yeah, I wasn't ready to buy a house then, but I always followed your email, so I'm ready to buy one now. So what do you got? Like that, and that could be years later. So this is why it's so strong and powerful to build a personal brand like that, because no matter what you do, you could be gamer girl real estate and you could evolve that to gamer girl apartments or gamer girl whatever you move on to crypto. It can move with you if you make it strong enough. And everybody loves gamer girls, so like that's powerful. Like I would go heavy 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 on that. So
That's a really good idea. I hope you don't mind. I'm like writing stuff down.
no, that's fine. That's what I mean. Like I said, and this will be recorded too, so you can get that back. But yeah, write down, because that's the best thing that stick in your mind is when you write notes down. So So this was the recap. I mean, like, I was saying, all of this, like, a nickname reflects how others view the person named and comes to mirror how that person sees him or himself. Nicknames can affect one's self-esteem both positively and negatively. Obviously, if you were Fatty Catty, Chatty Cathy, or Fatty, or unfortunately, if your name was Karen, you'd catch that.
Yeah.
So, you know, um,
Nowadays, Karen's not the name to go with.
yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, but I would find a way to twist that around. But right now, like I said, that's a hurdle for some people. um and we talked about with you with like physical attributes or quality. You were a giggler, so you can just be the giggling gamer girl, doesn't matter. But it's still alliteration, which is GG. Any rhyming things or any double letters or anything you can go with that, the better, because it helps you stand out more. All right. Yeah, so that was that one. Okay. Now, once you decide, because gamer girl's probably taken, or you could be Grace the gamer girl or gaming Grace or gamer, something like that. You can play with that
I
because
lost you for a second there.
I said if because gamer girl is probably taken. This is the chapter 2 part. Like, I want you to go and, like, once you decide on what you want, and you're gonna have to take some time out to play with this. What you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to write down like a bunch of possible variations, like brainstorm 10 or 20 variations on gamer girl or gamer Grace or Grace the gamer girl, whatever feels good for you, because you're going to want to get the YouTube and the Gmail version of it. Why? Because of YouTube. So you can actually make a YouTube channel once you get that tag. Also, if you can, the like the URL, the .com or something, right? So find a few that you like, and then you're gonna want to grab everything you can on it. It's really easy for you to change your Facebook and your TikTok and some of these other ones to your new tag. The hardest one's going to be getting the YouTube channel, Gmail, and the URL, the URL, right? So that's why I say write a few down, and then play with, like, see what's available. And sometimes, you got to be, if gamer girl's taken, you could be gamer girl one or gamer girl your birth date or something
Hmm.
name. That's good enough if you can get all the others. So for example, right, when I made up Daddy's Fast Cash, I made it up that way also because it's a made up name. So I was able to grab everything, like Gmail, YouTube. So if you create it with like a misspelling or um something like that, people, you'll get it, but it might also, the misspelling might mess some people up. So you have to kind of think about that and say, like, what's the easiest thing? And then for me, Dad Next Door, the most recent one, the Dad Next Door came from, like, people remember the Millionaire Next Door, or the Girl Next Door, or whatever. So it was easy to remember, but somebody had taken it because the easier ones to remember are the ones that people take. So you might have to put like an underscore at the end or something like that on, like, say Instagram or Facebook or something like that. But once you're known, it's not going to hold you up. You just do those little tricks to get as close as you can to that. And you won't get them all sometimes, but if you can think it out through and find the one you like the most and maybe make it a little bit different, like by a letter, it could be with a Z, change one of the letters in it to make it, how sometimes people will misspell words on purpose, and you still get the idea. If you have to, like, gamer girl might be GMER girl or something like that, or GMR girl. Whatever feels good to you that you feel like people are going to remember, the less words, the better. If you can get whatever your handle is under like 15 characters, you're good. Like, less than 3 words, less than 15 characters for like a .com, for like a handle, stuff like that, because it's easier to remember. If you're stuck and it's like you can't get gamer any other stuff you want, like, look for like 3 1 1 1 1 2 2 2 2, the real gamer girl, stuff like that. Like, look outside the box a little bit and just see which of those sort of fit, and just take some time with it, because once you get that and you can find the .com and the YouTube that match up, like the Gmail YouTube that match up, all the rest are probably going to be easy to grab. easier to grab. So that, does that make sense?
Hmm.
And the reason is because when someone's looking for you on Google, or better yet, DuckDuckGo, um, they're gonna find a whole lot of information on the first page, but probably yours will be there more times than anybody else's, and they'll figure it out by the way you look and some other things, right? So that's what you want. You don't want them searching all over the damn place trying to find you. You want them
Yeah.
pretty fast. That's why the other reason why the nickname's kind of important. So yeah, this kind of just goes into what I just told you, standing out in people's heads. Like, for example, people might say, well, Grace who? Giggles, or Grace Gamer Girl. Oh yeah, I know exactly what Grace you're talking about. That's the whole point. You want them to remember who you are more than anything. So then once you kind of get that name sorted out and you find like enough of the right ones that you can kind of move forward, you want to go get some kind of a logo, obviously, right? So two places, and there's plenty of them now. Well, Canva, you can actually go and kind of play around and make a logo, and you might actually make something on there for free that you like to, you can start with, right? So
Mhm.
canva.com. I use the paid version because you can do like moving videos and all kinds of more better stuff on there. But the free version's pretty. I used that for like a year and like a few years without actually paying for it, till I was like, I might as well pay for it because I got so much value out of it, and it's cheap. It's like $100 a year or something.
Okay.
Um, the you could do a mock-up on Canva, or if you're not very artistic, because I don't draw my logos. I always have somebody else do that. I'm just more like an art director. And you could also go to Fiverr, and I would say hire 2 to 4 artists on Fiverr at the same time to make a logo.
It's Fiverr as like Fiber.
Fiverr,
Oh,
actually.
oh, oh. E.
It's right here. Yeah, and so the book actually has the links right to it. So you don't have
Oh,
to
okay, cool.
spelling. Yeah, you can go on there and look for graphic designers and kind of see what people's work look like, and then just kind of bid on them. And I would say on Fiverr it's kind of hit or miss. I would hire like 3 different guys at the same time, have them all come up with a version of what you want, and just pay for them all. And if you do like I said, 2 to 4 different people, yeah, you waste money on a couple of them, but if you did it for cheap enough, it's not so bad, and you got to see different versions. Or if you got a little bit more money, like I like 99 Designs, because then you have a whole bunch of people bidding on your job, and then you only have to pay for the one that you like. So that worked better for me. I got this guy from them, and then I just ended up hiring him, because after, once you hire the designer, now you have their contact information. You can always go back to them and say, hey, I needed a revision for this, and then deal with them directly, and it's a little bit cheaper. So um that's some ways, or if you have friends that are artists, you can always try them out. But these are the cheapest ways to get a lot of, or most effective ways to get a lot of options fast. 99 Designs, you run a campaign, I think it takes a week, you get all, depending, because you can actually boost it where people would just pay more, or you pay a little bit more, and more people, I don't know, I haven't been on there a while, but like they'll bid on your job, more people will.
And they'll all make a design and like put it
Yeah.
out there for
So,
you.
so what you can do is you put the job, so you can do 2 things. You can browse on there and then start like favoriting people that you like. And then once you post a job, you can invite those other artists' work you like to the job and say, hey, I'm looking for an artist for this. If you want to bid on, if you want to, throw your hat in the ring, here's what I'm looking for. So you can, like I said, you can browse through a bunch of people's work, like, and like look at it, and then boom. And Fiverr kind of works the same way. You could post a job, or you can message them directly after you look at their portfolio. But they're both easy to search and easy to get attention on the job you're posting. And you can always send people your job, like you're posting your job link of like what you're looking for, and send them, hey, this is my job, this is my job, if you're browsing around and you see something you really like. Some will, some won't. So what, you'll get enough to get that, to the point where you'll find something good. And again, it could evolve, like, this one evolved different ways. Like, this is the original, and this kind of was an evolved version, but I went back to the original because I liked them better. But point is, that's how you kind of navigate all this stuff for yourself when you're doing it yourself, and it's a lot cheaper, and you can get exactly what you know what you're feeling. And don't be afraid to ask friends and family, like, on social media, hey, which one do you like more? Because I don't know, are you pretty heavy on any of the like social media platforms?
I don't post a lot, but I do go on them a lot and check out other people's stuff. I post sometimes, but it's not really like that much.
But when you post, right, like, do you get a good amount of responses? And why I ask is because, a, like, you're gonna say, like, sometimes it's like, I got these four, this is my logo, these are my choices, which one do you think is better, A or B or C? So some people can kind of give you their feedback and help you out with that. Also,
Yeah, I definitely have a lot of people when I do post, have people respond to my posts and stuff.
that's good. That's what I'm saying, because that's what you want. You don't want to be a posting all the time type of person where it's just like, oh, my dog has diarrhea today, or silly shit, or basically,
Yeah.
but when you do post, it's like people are like respond more. That's better. And then not only that, but when you start branding, you're going to want to let people, you're going to want to post more, because people have to see this new you, right? Like your transition. And people they like to see that evolution. They like to see people go from one thing to another, especially if like they're attractive or they're sort of talented or anything like that. People are get invested in that kind of process. So to involve them in some degree, ask questions all the time, like, hey, what do you think of this? Versus, I'm doing this. Know anybody who's selling a house? A million people are selling a house, but if,
Hmm.
uh, I don't know. You got to think of of ways to just kind of grab people's attention. And Fiverr is a perfect place for you to experiment with marketing. By the way, like, if you ever want to like make it's logos, you can make jingles. You can pay people to play pranks on other people. Like
Really?
I used to have fun with that. Yeah, like vote, like call somebody up on the phone and like impersonate like Obama or something like that. Like there's just it's gotten very, very like commercial lately, but you can still find a bunch of weird kind of gigs on there and like play around with it. I had a guy just make a song about me, like a goofy ass guitar song.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that part of like that was part of my brand. Like when it first started, it used to be like you could go and get people to paint your logo. Like if it was a hot girl, they would paint their logo on their stomach or their back or something like that, and like kind of like just for attention for $5.
Hmm.
I mean, it was something. And or you can like hire like models to do your videos. But nowadays, as influencers, it's like a little bit different. This was before
Yeah.
influencers, but before, if you had like $10, I'll make you a quick 30-second video or something. People were making some real money on there. And, might even be something you want to do, like review games, or ASIM, or I don't know. There's a million things you could do. It's just if you could find some, I would say go on there and kind of just browse, because you'd be amazed at the things that people would pay $5 to $10 for if it was amusing and and valuable to them. And sometimes the weirder stuff is valuable to people. So
All right, cool.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I had no idea that Fiverr did that stuff. It's like interesting. I actually remember my captain, he uses Fiverr because he just made his own business and he does like metal work or something like that on the side of when he's off the tug. And he used Fiverr and there was really cool designs that came out. So I remember seeing that, but I'd never saw 99 designs. So that's
Too
pretty
also
cool.
is oops. I don't know. If you haven't already, I use that's
Sorry?
that's what happens when you mess around while people are it just popped up it popped up this live feed on my computer because I clicked on the wrong thing.
Oh.
Um so yeah, so let me see. Yeah, so we're pretty much done chapter 2. The rest of it is kind of like, hey, I got 15 minutes or so more where you can ask any questions. I'm also going to show you these other things because um, I don't know if you're aware of them or not, but let me find it real quick. So because I'm part of Alchemist Nation, like there are obviously all these other real estate sort of involved. Where did you go? Other real estate offerings, right? But one
Mhm.
of the more valuable ones is this right here. Every Saturday at 10, a bunch of people get on. It's for free. You can get on
Oh,
this.
okay.
You can get on this wealth principle journeys, and it just basically talks about like one sort of principle of building wealth. And I don't get on there all the time, but every time I get on, I get something out of it. And Galter, like that's this is kind of his baby. But a lot of the other instructors come in, and it's more like of a generic mindset and um, money principle kind of thing we offer, not just real estate. It's like overall, but a lot of it is geared around real estate and just building value. So feel free, you could just go through this link and sign up for it. It's every Saturday at 10. It usually goes for like an hour, sometimes
Okay.
90 minutes. And then, after that, I mean, there's also the wholesale and other stuff like that, but he will host, he will talk more about that if you want to plug into any of that other stuff. I just handle this and this Friday thing and a couple other things here and there. But yeah, I wanted to share that with you because make sure that you knew about that. And then one more thing, let me see, I wanted to share was this. So what I do is like I basically I'm retired, but I help people develop apps. Like I'm developing an app right now, and I'm
Oh,
also
cool.
helping other people who might have an app idea if they want to. I take them through a process, and then if the company likes it, we joint venture with them. Now, this young entrepreneurs movement is actually a version of that, and I don't know how old you are. I thought you were pretty young, but then you said tugboat, so you might be a little older than I thought. But if you know any young entrepreneurs that are looking to develop apps or have an idea, they just don't know where to take it. Um, or they might already have an app and it's just like, why isn't it working? Why can't I get it out to the world? There's all kind of flavors of that. Or they want to work into the tech industry, possibly. Like
Hmm.
I can, I mean, I'll shoot you a link in the chat, like to both Dad Labs and this thing, and just my only ask for when I do these classes is if you happen to know anybody like that, or if you're like that and it's something you're interested in, just feel free to contact me and I'll give you more information about that. And that's just kind of like, hey, since that's what I'm more passionate about these days, is actually helping people develop tech that could change the world. Like my particular one I'm developing has to do with trash and environmental issues, but
Oh,
some of the
cool.
other ones, yeah, some of the other ones I'm involved in trying to get across the threshold from an idea to working on a real company is one that's related to gym and health, and another one's a mental health one, and the third one's having to do with travel. But they're all in various phases. But the company itself's got over 40 of them going on. So, we equipped to do anything really. It's just as long as it feels like it's going to be valuable to the world and it's not been seen before, then it's probably going to be something we pick up. As long is a process, but I just figured I'd share that with you. So
Yeah,
I'll
no, that's awesome. It's a
I'll
actually really good idea.
I'll pop those couple things in the chat, and if you want to connect to any of that, just copy in it and in mine. And then I guess, like I said, if you had any more questions about, I guess, wholesaling or anything else while I pull this stuff up, feel free to, got a few more minutes here. So yeah.
Okay. Um, Sorry if you hear a lot of noise in the background. My cat is just being kind of a pain in the butt right now. So you're
Don't
probably hearing a lot of stuff. Um,
don't
let's
feel bad.
see.
I got 6 kids. It's never quiet here when they're here. So.
That's a lot of kids.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a long story, but one of the things you're gonna find out when you do all this is you got to have a pretty big why, like to keep you going. Like people are like, oh,
Mhm.
why do you want to do real estate? Well, I want more money. Why? To have a better life and provide for my family. Okay, but why? And then
Yeah.
you start to run out. So that all that doesn't take you all the way to like when times are rough and you kind of get discouraged, like what's going
Hmm.
to make you keep going. So my
Yeah.
why is, yeah, I want to see 100 kids develop, I'm sorry, 100 kids adopted through my influence and before I die. So we personally adopted 5 of them, and then I've helped a couple of other friends, entrepreneurs, kind of through the process, and as I could.
That's awesome.
And but
That's fantastic.
I still got 92 to go. So like all that I'm doing, I'm trying to help create other people, other millionaires, because if I can do that, then a percentage of them are going to be,
Able to adopt children, bring them
or
into a
they're going to
home.
feel financially able, because that's the big thing.
Hmm. Well, that's
Well,
the thing too, because that's definitely like my why is like I don't have any kids now, but I want to know how to handle money because I grew up not in the best environment and didn't get to didn't learn how to handle money properly. So I had to go through a whole like relearning of money, um, and like change my mindset kind of thing. And when I have kids, I want my children to be able to actually learn how to handle money so I can teach them so they're not ever struggling, you know? And then also, I do want to be able to adopt children at some point, but I know I can't do that unless I have money.
well, yes and no. It's really the mindset of money and learning how to manage what you do have. But I will say
Mhm,
this, I learned, well, if you have a foreclosure or bankruptcy, they won't let you adopt a child. So that's another
mhm.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one thing I want to avoid. It's like bankruptcy or any sort of, scar that's gonna prevent me from doing anything. But yeah, I mean, that's I want to be able to be financially secure so I can help my children. Also, I want passive income so I can spend time with my children. I don't want to be gone because I work on tugboats. And one of the common things that everybody who does have kids is like they're gone half the time and they don't get to see their kids, because they have to go to work. And I'm like, I want to be able to be with my children when I have them, you know.
Are you, how far, I mean, I guess we're getting into personal information, but are, are you like already married? Do you have children? Like, I don't know how, I
No,
can't tell how.
no, I have my boyfriend, but him and we've already talked about marriage. So like I'm gonna marry him and we talked about kids. We have the same idea about children and stuff, but um so I'm not married yet, but I know that when I am married, that's when we'll have kids, like after we're married. So
Well, that's great, because and also a little, if you could there, try to wait a few years and go travel as best you can and have some adventures, because after years of marriage, if you don't do that, if you go right into kids, you guys, when things get rough, you have these memories of past times of just, living married life together to
yeah,
draw upon, to give you strength through those tough times. And if you run right into it, you're not going to have that good foundation, I think. I mean,
yeah. I mean, we
everybody,
agreed to wait at least a year after we're married, like wait a while before we have kids because we want to like enjoy time together and travel. Because
how did you end up in tugboats? Because you're the first. I mean, I've seen them before, but I don't know anything about.
so I used to work on tall ships and sailing yachts before, and then I was in a relationship with somebody, and he didn't like me being gone for the amount of time that I would have to be gone when I was working on those types of vessels. So I was like, well, the best case would be a tugboat, and so
So you're
we
like
moved down
a
here
captain?
to Charleston. What?
You like a captain? Like what
No,
is the
I'm just
function?
a deckhand, but I'm going for my mate's license. I want to get my 1600-ton near coastal license so I can do transits.
What made you decide for that as a career though? Like, were you in the Navy or anything? Or you just kind of like
Mm-mm.
like boats, or you just it was a
Yeah, I just loved being on the water, and I was like, I know this is where I want to be. And I've tried to do land jobs, like work on land, and I was just like, this sucks. So I was like, I want to go back to the water. So I just go back.
that's you got some pirates in your like family tree? Is that what happened?
No,
Yeah. Go back to the roots.
it'd be funny if I did.
Cool story though. Like, hey, I'm related to like Long John Silver. That's why.
Nope. But yeah, it's I just love being on the water, so I just want to always be on the water. The only thing I'd give it up for is children because kids, take all your time. So
you know, you love water, and houseboats are a thing. You might want to start looking at like a little niche in that because um people that know about living on the water really do love it. I have a friend who ended up like he was a real estate investor and he ended up like not selling everything, but he just ended up moving to Miami, buying a boat, and now he lives on a boat and he loves it. And his thing is like this. He gets on the boat, he's like, you see that house there? That's Gloria Stefan's. You see that one? That's whoever. Those are like, $12 million houses. I got the same view as those guys. See, like I'm on the boat, and whenever I want that $12 million view, I just move my boat over there. He goes,
Yeah.
"So that's what I love about this is like I get everything those people get with less hassle. I just
Mhm.
love it. And he's a real estate guy, and this is how he feels. And I got to see a taste of that, and I was like, I totally agree. I could see living on a boat. Um, so there was a show called Stay Here on Netflix. You could probably look it up. And
Okay.
one of them was a houseboat Airbnb. And I was thinking about that because you're you're in a unique place as a person, a person who does this tugboats. You probably know people who might even have houseboats that never even thought of that, or boats that you could kind of turn into an Airbnb. Airbnb is a real estate. And if you figured out the right 1-2 kind of combination, you could just focus on one little tiny niche like that and clean up. So
That's a
that's
really
another,
good, yeah, I never even thought of that.
yeah, that
That's
that's a whole nother thing you can get into. So, you know, you could be gamer girl, you can be galley girl, or you could just like
that's actually not bad.
you can play with all that. I mean, again, it's whatever you want. And if you start with a brand, you don't necessarily have to throw it away. You can just evolve it. Like I told you, you're still the brand. You're the personal. It's your personal brand. In the book, you'll see later on, it went from Daddy's Fast Cash to Dad's Pads to the Dad Next Door. Still the same art and face, different products, and you can do that. So, look. I mean, keep your eye out for that kind of opportunity since you're on the water so much, because especially the way real estate is now, like a lot more people might be getting into houseboats because it's like hard to buy a house now. So,
That's
you know,
true. It is very difficult to buy a house.
you might start flipping houseboats like people flip mobile homes. You don't know. Could be a thing.
That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely know about boats and I mean, love
Take
being on the water. So
Listen, it might take a while to break into it, but
hmm
then you're the expert in that. Then the next thing you know, that's the type of thing. It might take you 2 or 3 years to get like a foot in, but if you were at it, and then once you're in, like you're the only person doing it, so now everybody goes to you. Like that's what you really want. So that's
Okay.
called blue ocean, and you're a sailor, so you know what that means. So
Yeah. And that's awesome because I usually go towards areas that have ports anyway, pretty major ports. So
I would, if I were you, start keeping an eye out for listening for people who have boats that aren't doing anything, complaining about like, oh man, this thing, is killing me, boat fee, and start thinking about like, hey, is there a way that I could become an Airbnb host for boat owners? I mean, there's a lot. I mean, they do it with mobile homes, houses, cars, Turo. So a boat is also possible, and houseboats and things like that. So check out Stay Here on Netflix. Look for the houseboat episode. I want to say it was like the second or third one, just to get your mind moving.
okay.
And I put my contact information in the chat and some of those other links. If you want to grab them, stay in contact with me because like that'd be kind of cool. I mean, I could definitely give you some tips or tricks or something to think about with if that's the
Yeah,
way.
that'd be awesome. That'd
All
be really awesome.
right, not a problem. All right, so
Cool.
stay in touch. Maybe I'll see you in another class. And yeah, if you don't got nothing else for me, then I'm gonna wrap it up and do some work and okay.
All right. Well, you have a great day.
All right, you too. Good.
Bye.